Peter, thanks for talking to FrankWarren.tv once again. Now you've been in England, now you're in Wales. How was your journey down?
Oh no, very nice. The ride wasn't bad, a couple hours, but we got to see the scenery, got to see some goats, got to see some sheep. No, it was pretty nice, beautiful country, and I'm just enjoying it. And I just took a tour around Millennium Stadium where the fight is gonna be, and it just reminds me of home. I'm gonna feel like right at home when I come here. So expect big things in April.
I just want to give the viewers of FrankWarren.tv a chance just to know a bit of your background, because we know you're from the Contender, obviously. But before then, because you've got just your family are into combat sports, your father especially, just tell us a little bit about what your father did.
Okay, my father was a world champion kickboxer, super welterweight. He was a world champion, and he's the one that got me into the sport when I was 5. And my uncle was a fighter, which is his brother. And his grandfather was a fighter. So, I obviously come from a family of fighters, and it's in the blood. And, it was forced on me when I was younger, but I'm glad it was, because, it's what I like to do. And it brought me to this point to fight, the super fight with Joe Calzaghe.
What was your sort of first memories of being in a boxing ring or strapping on them gloves?
I didn't know what to think of it. I thought it was just a sport, a fun sport at the time, and I won my first 20 fights, so I was extremely happy, and you get that big head and you're confident, and it was just fun back when you were a kid, because you're learning how to fight, you know how to defend yourself, but it's just tough. It's tough.
Let's fast forward to the Contender. Tell me, what are the positives and negatives of being in a reality TV show about boxing?
The positives was definitely that, it got me the exposure I needed. But the negatives was the whole boxing image that it portrays upon you. Before the show, I was 21-0. I was ranked 3 in the world. I was an NABO champion at 154 pounds. And when I made the show, it all changed, because, you're living with these fighters. You have no trainers. You're not trained. You're getting interviewed all day, so you don't have time to rest. You never know when you're going to fight. You never know who you're going to fight, so you can't prepare for the fighter. Then you're doing these crazy challenges the day before a fight where you can get injured. And it's just so unrealistic to boxing. And, it's tough for me when I come to London here, because a lot of people see me on the show, but they haven't really seen the real Peter Manfredo in the ring. So I guess I have to prove that on April 7th. But the positives were it got me the exposure. The negatives were it didn't portray me as a good fighter.
I mean, you were, I think, on a list, one of many fighters that HBO wanted Joe Calzaghe to possibly face. What was it like when you sort of got the call, or finally got the nod that, hey, you're the man?
I said it yesterday. I just said, I couldn't take the smile off my face. And still to this day, I can't believe it, because it's been my dream, to fight at this big stage on HBO. So, my dream, I'm living my dream right now, and I love it. It's surreal.
Only 2 fights at the super middleweight division. Are you comfortable at that weight?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable, and it's my last 2 fights have been the best performances I've ever had. 2 knockouts, so I'm definitely stronger. I feel better, and I'm extremely confident.
Now, I know you've analysed Joe Calzaghe closely, and his last fight, Samuel Beaker, some say wasn't maybe the dominant performance we would have liked, but certainly before that against Jeff Lacey it was.
Right.
What do you make of both those fights?
Well, I've seen a couple of his fights, and he fights the same way, Calzaghe. Maybe he wasn't so dominant last time because Beaker had a different style than Lacey. Styles make fights. Beaker had the style where he would punch and grab, so it happened to be a boring fight. I feel I have a style that can beat Joe. Like I said, styles make fights, and I feel like my style can beat his. So that's why I go in the confident. But he fights the same way every fight, if you notice.
What do you do, Peter, when when you come into a fight like this, where you're clearly the underdog, and clearly Joe Calzaghe is a champion for a reason, because he is that good? How do you approach this fight? Because I know I've heard you say that as a boxer, you don't go into fights thinking you're going to lose.
Right, of course not. But there's much more. There's no pressure on me going into this fight. It's better that I'm the underdog. I actually like being the underdog. I go and I do my work in the gym. When I prepare for this fight, 100%. And when I come here, there's no pressure on me, because the cameras, all the eyes are on Joe Calzaghe, because he's the superstar. He's never lost. He's the world champion. He's fighting in his backyard in front of his people. He's looking for bigger and better fights in the future. So he's got all the pressure. I just come and I do my work, and that's it. Hopefully I get that victory.
What do you have, Peter, that can beat Joe?
I think I got everything he's got, but I got power too. I got just as much speed as he has. I got movement. I got boxing ability. I got banging ability. I got a little of everything. I have the championship quality. So I'm going to go in there, and plus I got Freddie Roach. I think that's the most important thing. Freddie Roach is the best trainer in the world in my eyes. And, he's a genius. He feels I can win, and he's going to tell me how.
I mean, let's talk about Freddie Roach just for a minute. I know you've just mentioned him. That he is, a well-renowned boxing trainer. What have you learned from being with him?
Just to get to this level, to get to the next level. When I was fighting before, I was just fighting to fight. Now it's I think about what I'm doing before I fight. Got my distance more. It's like a chess match now, even though I stink at chess. But I'm good at this. I got to this championship level, and it's hard to explain. I don't like to talk about it. I just have to prove it to you. So on April, I think you'll see what I mean.
Freddie obviously has other great boxers in his gym as well, mainly people like Manny Pacquiao. Do you get a chance to spar with him? I know he's a lighter weight for you, but maybe for speed.
Yeah, no. Freddie doesn't let me go in there like that. Manny Pacquiao is obviously a superstar, but he's too small, and I'm too big. So even though he's quick and he's as good as he is, one punch from me or something like that, because I'm bigger, he could get hurt or whatever, and he doesn't need that. He makes too much money when he fights, and it's too important. So, no, we usually fight guys we spot with guys our weight and stuff like that. So, but he has plenty of left-handers there and plenty of sparring to get me ready for this fight.
And what's the atmosphere like in a gym of that renown, though? Because you get to watch Manny Pacquiao, don't you, work out and do his thing. What's it like, and what do you learn from that sort of experience?
I think it's what got me to this other level also. But, training with a champion makes you want to be a champion. It just took me to that next level. I want to be like him. I see Manny Pacquiao train. I see James Toney train, Wayne McCullough train. I see all these guys train. They're world champions or former champions. And you want to be that champion, so you train just as hard, if not harder, so you can get to their level one day.
30,000 people, Peter. A very small percentage of them screaming your name, and if they are, you probably won't hear them. I mean, that's a huge thing to contend with as well, isn't it?
A very huge thing. But, this is what I do. This is exciting. This is what makes boxing the best. You perform in front of people. Most of them will probably be booing me because, I won't blame them. They got to go for their countryman, Joe. Good guy. But I think by the end of the fight, they'll be cheering for me because they'll show me a little more respect, or a little respect that, I can hang in there with those guys.
Is there a win-win situation here? Is that possible?
I think for me, in my mind, it's a win-win situation. I believe 100% I can win this fight. But even if I don't, worst case scenario, I lose. I'm gonna lose, with a close decision. I'm not gonna get killed like Lacey got killed. But I don't even go in to think I'm losing. So yeah, it's a win-win situation for me, in my mind.